and download that PDF. What we're going to be talking about tonight is taking a regular simple triad. Like here I have a C triad. And I'm going to, in here we have the 1, 3rd, and the 5th, root, 3rd, and the 5th. And I'm going to go from the 2nd to the 3rd note. And I'm going to hammer onto that 3rd note. From the 2nd to the 3rd step of the scale. So just that little 1 finger move, it opens up all kinds of interesting musical possibilities when playing a C chord. So instead of just playing a C, which is great, everybody can do that, but now I can add this little, I'm just going to move 1 move, this 2nd finger from the D, which is the 2nd step of the scale, open to the 2nd finger on the 4th string, that's to the 3rd step of the scale, and I end up with this wonderful little hammer on. Maybe I can hammer on and pull-offs. Maybe I can add the suspended. There are a couple of different finger combinations with it, but I can do that to a variety of chords. I can even do it on movable chords. It's a very common thing you hear on guitar a lot, especially kind of in country songs, but you can use it in all genres as well. So we're going to learn some open moves that are just in the open position with open strings, and we're also going to learn some moves that are movable. Now, in the PDF, like always, we've got the finger numbers. Those are the circled numbers in your PDF. I've got the tab there. I've got the music notation. Everything I could think of. Now, there you'll see a little note. We're going to start off with a D chord, basically a D shape, and I'm going to take my 2nd finger off, and I'm left with this shape here, which is a D2. And I'm going to hammer on my 2nd finger. So I'm only plucking the chord 1 time, and I'm hammering on that 2nd finger note. So how I tried to notate that is you have the full chord, that D, and then before it you have this little extra note that is slurred onto the note there. But you're actually only plucking the chord 1 time. So it's a little deceptive, almost kind of looks like that note is coming before the chord, but it's actually they're all at the same time. So that's the first move on a D chord. Now, there's a lot of great things you can do with this. I can just hammer on, but I can also pull off. So that's kind of the first hurdle, is just kind of getting used to this hammer-on, pull-off motion. So it gives all of this wonderful movement when basically it's just a D triad. Take a look at the next one. All right, now I'm going to do another combination in open strings. If I had an A, here's an A triad, an A with my 2nd finger, 3rd finger on the C sharp, open E. But I'm going to go, remember I want to go from the 2nd step of the scale, which is a B, to the 3rd step of the scale. So I'm going to hammer on my 3rd finger this time. It's a little more awkward than the easiest one is a D. Yeah, we can add that low A to it. You hear this move a lot in James Taylor songs, in a lot of country and western songs. Take a look at the next one. All right, so that's the first form, is a D one. The next one is an A. What else do we have? We have an F. We can do it on an F. These are basically all major triads. That's all we're talking about tonight is major triads. So on the F, here's the major triad, F, A, C. And again, this time I'm going to use my middle string, the 3rd string, and I'm going to hammer on from the G note, open G, to the second note, A. Now, I'm doing it fingerstyle, but you can just as well do it with a pick. Let me do it with a pick. not a hard move, but it really adds some interesting movement to your chords instead of just going C, F, C. And now I could do just creates a much more interesting part. Take a look at the fourth one. Okay, now this one is a C chord, and we're going to do the third finger, the second finger, and an open string. That's a C major triad, C, E, and G. Fifth string, third finger, fourth string, second finger, and then open G. And we're going to hammer on like we did before with the second finger to, or the open string to the second finger. Maybe I can even play the full C. Just gives some motion in there. Now, look at this one. It is the same finger combination when I do a G. So let's go to the sixth string, same fingers, third finger, second finger, and open. And I'm going to hammer on from the open to the second string. Same finger combination for the G. So it gets a little growly the lower you go. But it's a great move. So there you go. Those are the ones that you can do in open string keys. So let's review. We did a D. Practice it with the two chord hammering onto the third. Then maybe a hammer on pull off. Then maybe just a pull off. Hammer on, pull off. Combination of both. Okay, what did we do next? We did the A. Hammer on, pull off. Hammer on and pull off. We did an F. Pull off. Hammer on and pull off. We did the C. We did a G. Just that little one finger on these, many of these just use the second finger, but you'll notice there's different finger combinations for 4 of the shapes, and then the last 2 share the same finger combination. Okay, we've learned some open ones. Can I do it in a movable situation? All right, well, let's take a look at this. These are primarily going to be A shapes and D shapes. So take a look at the first one. We've got, basically I'm going to this shape, this A. I'm barring the fourth and third string with my first finger, and I'm adding my third finger on that C sharp there. But I'm going to overshoot the bar, and I'm going to do the bar on the 5th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. So that way I can hammer onto this 3rd finger here. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind with this is you need to know where the root is. So where's the A in this A chord? Well, it's the highest tone. You'll notice on your little chord blocks there, if you look at the chord diagrams underneath the music notation there, you'll see that one of those little chord blocks, the little note in there, has a diamond. Usually they're all circles, but this one has a diamond. The diamond is indicating the root. That's the root of the chord. So that's an A. Well, if I wanted to do it as a B flat, I just move it up, make that root a B flat, and do the same move. Hey, can we do it in B? No problem. That's the beauty of these movable forms. So that's one of the lower ones. Now, the second move, it's a triad, but think of it, look at the combination of chords from the first one to the second one. This is the first A. The second A is going to be, we're just going to add our pinky down here on the fifth string, sixth string. What am I saying? Okay, so that's the A shape. This is the second measure there. But I'm going to hammer onto that third finger. So I can go all the way down to the low A, or I can just start on the C sharp. Or I can go down to the root. Now granted, it's a little bit low there. Well, we can do that same finger combinations on the next string set up. So take a look at that third measure there. So if I did that D with the D note as the highest root on the second string, I'm going to bar my first finger on the fourth and third strings and then hammer on with my third finger there. This is a D. Back to the A. To do it on an E. I move, there's my root with my second finger. If I move my second finger up to an E, I can do it there. You see how it just makes a wonderful, very rich, very acoustic guitar sounding lick, and you're only doing just hammering on that from the second scale step to the third scale step. All right, take a look. We've done the first, we've done the second, we've done the third. Let's do the fourth measure there, move 4. All right, we're gonna have to change things up as we go through the different string sets. So this one's a little bit awkward. We're gonna put our pinky on this A here on the 4th string at the 7th fret. Put our first finger there on the 3rd string at the 4th fret. And then our second finger on the 2nd string at the 5th fret. And that's going to be our A2, so our root is actually this 4th string note. Again, if you're in doubt, look at the chord block. You've got the diamond there, and then the little arrow that's telling you the string that's moving. So that one's a little bit tougher because you've got to pull off that 3rd finger. Bit hard for me to do. Take a look at the last one there. All right, so that one works if I have a root on the 4th string. Last one there, I've got a D shape again with the root. He's going to be on the 3rd string now. So I'm going to bar with my first finger up here at the 5th fret. And I'm going to hammer on this time with my pinky. So those are the 5 different shapes of movable roots that you can use all over the neck, so you can put them in whatever key. So I made a little kind of a song example. If you want to look at page 3, did a little song example that kind of runs you through these forms. Let me play it and then I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. It sounds like some sort of a country song intro there. There was a great piano player, country piano player, I can't remember his name, Floyd Kramer, and he kind of did exactly this but on piano, and you hear that all the time in country songs. It's a very distinctive way of playing country piano. And Floyd Kramer was the one that made this famous. So our adaptation of this on guitar turns out to be using these little hammer-ons from the second to the third note, and it's usually on the middle string. All right, so what do we have here? If I'm looking at my song example, I'm going to start off with a D chord. And I hammer up to that, the F sharp. Hit that low D and let it ring. Then I switch to my A shape, and I'm going to hammer up to that A shape. But look, oh, my A shape is fourth, third, and second. You may be tempted to play it 3, 2, and 1, but if I do it that way, then I can't get my second note to work right. So I got to do 4, 3, and 2 here, which seems a little counterintuitive, but it's the only way to do it. And then I hammer onto that. I do my little E hammer on, hit the low E there. I do the same move, down 2 frets for the D, and then I hit the A. So if I did that first line, 2, 3, 4. I'll do it again. So take a look. We've done it high. Now let's go to some of the lower voicings. I do the same D chord, but now I'm going to be in lower voicings. So remember, in order to do this, I've got to overshoot my bar. So you may think, oh, well, I'm not even barring on that. But yeah, you need to in order to catch that middle note. And then I do the little pull off there. Same move, but just on an E with a G sharp as the lowest note. So those 2 measures there, that second line, that's a little hard move there. And then I threw a little lick here just up the arpeggio. Hammer on the C sharp, bar here. And then I'm back to the top. Second line. There you go. Just a wonderful little move that you can do on acoustic guitars. It's very James Taylory, very country guitar. And it is a great little move to add movement into your what would be just normal triad playing. Now we do have a question here. Don is asking, what about a pull-off to make the D major 7th on the 2nd fret? There's the D major 7th on the 2nd fret. Maybe you're saying something like that. Yeah, you can do this on a variety of notes. It's just more customary on that middle note going from the 2nd to the 3rd step of the scale. But I could just as well go. You can do it with other combinations as well. There you go. It's just a fun little move. You use it all the time. A couple weeks ago, well, it was probably 6 weeks ago now, we did a song, I opened up with a song, Change the World by Eric Clapton. And a lot of folks enjoyed that. And I hadn't really worked up an official arrangement of it. And so I haven't officially solidified this arrangement. You know, it takes me, as I'm going through a song, it takes a little time to ferment just in my head. So we're going to do this Change the World again, because I got some new ideas on it. I've been messing around with it. I haven't quite got it down, so you're going to get some extra notes, clams in there, no extra charge for that. This is Change the World by Eric Clapton, this arrangement I'm working on. you go. Lots of fun, lots of fun. So I'm still working on that arrangement a little bit. I want to do that with the, we have our little trio, and I think that would be a great song to have the drums and the bass going on. So anyway, when I get that worked out, when I get that arrangement worked out, I will let you know. We did a lesson on Blackbird a couple of years ago, and then I recently did a new arrangement of that, and we put that up a few weeks ago, and it's just been going fantastic. If you want to buy that lesson, that link is in the YouTube description down below there. It has the original lesson, and then also has this bonus arrangement, and all of it is written out, 9 pages of the bonus arrangement alone. So added with the 15 pages of the other, it's quite a lot of content that we've given you for that. So if you're interested in that, take advantage of that. That link is in the YouTube description down below. Hey, Thomas Moore is asking, what's the 2-button Ditto looper do compared to the 1-button one? I have the 1-button one. Okay, the 1-button one is really good. That's the mini Ditto looper there, and I use that when I have when I'm doing kind of my small rig things. Here's basically the 2-button one. It gives you a few more capabilities which I never use, but what I like that second button for is I can turn it off. I can stop it. The other one is just a little, I'm just a simple single-celled creature, you know, so to be able to remember that if I hit the button and then tap it twice and then hit it once 2 long times and all that sort of stuff, it gets a little confusing to me to do, because you can do all the same functionality on the 1-button one. You just have to remember it's 2 taps for this and a long and a short for that and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes in the heat of battle I get confused with that, and I just want it to stop. I just want a stop button. So that's what the 2 gives me. So that one, currently I was using the Ditto Looper XL there, which can also run stereo, which that's a fun little aspect of it, but I do like that second button just to be able to turn it off and have no questions asked when I do that. So there you go. But the mini Ditto looper is great too. I've got that one on my other board when I don't have room for the larger one, because it is a little bit larger with that one. We've got our fall fingerstyle retreat coming up. Man, it was forever away. Now it's starting to come over the horizon now. It's going to be September next week, and then the next month after that is the Fall Fingerstyle Retreat in October. We've got 4 slots left. It sells out, is sold out every year for the last 3 or 4 years. And so if you're interested in getting on one of these, the last 4 slots for it, I would encourage you to do that, because the price goes up next week. So if you want to still be able to get in on the pre-registration price and save yourself $100, register before that price goes up next week. So if you're interested on that, the Fall Fingerstyle Retreat, it's just amazing time. Okay, I'm gonna stop this and go to my my nylon string guitar for a second. So I'm gonna do a song, Lagrima. I haven't played Lagrima for you guys forever. This is a beautiful classical guitar piece, and made by Francesco Tarrega. It's one of the classics on classical guitar. So I thought I would try and attempt this. See if I could play Lagrima for you. It's a very pretty song. folks were asking about when you're tuning. So if I have my tuner up here, do I just tune, let's say I'm a little sharp. Okay, so there it's a little sharp. Do I just tune down? And the answer is no. You want to tune below the pitch and then up to the pitch. So always when you're tuning, even if you're high, you want to tune below the pitch, loosen the string, and then tighten it back up again. If I just tighten up to the pitch, then sometimes just how the gears work, it doesn't, the string has a tendency to loosen and come out of tune again. So we don't want to do that. So we always want to scoop up to the pitch when we're tuning. So if I have it like this, G is a little sharp, so I'm going to tune below it, loosen it a little bit, and then get it up to pitch. That's kind of the proper way. It's going to give you a little bit more of a stable way of tuning there. All right. Any questions before we land this ship? We will not have a live lesson next week because I'm going to be out of town. And but we'll be on the week after that. All right, let me just play a little bit for you. There you go, a little bit of Great Is Thy Faithfulness to close us out tonight. Oh, we did have one question here. I'm seeing Thomas is asking, how do you handle in a song like that when there's one part you can't do? Do you just keep trying or change it to make it work? Yes to both. I keep trying, and if need be, I change it to make it work. Like in that song that I was doing, that I'm currently working on, Change the World, I was having trouble with this part. Let's see. This part here. And then when I do it again, this is where I can't quite figure out the way out of it. And that's kind of what I have settled on. There you go. So sometimes it just, how that arranging goes for me, Tom, is I can kind of fake an arrangement at any point in time and be about 80% of the way there. That last 20%, I gotta work for, and I gotta figure out every little lick along the way. And like that previous lesson I did on Blackbird, I had the general gist of that Blackbird lesson, about 80% of it down. And then the things that I was going to add just kind of come to me over the span of a few days. I practiced that song, probably 15 times during a day. And I just, musically wander on the song and over the part that I can't quite figure out. And sometimes I'll stumble upon a solution. Sometimes if I change the groove, a solution will present itself, like on the Change the World. That's when I change the groove, I seem to land a little bit better. Sorry. When I kind of changed the groove and made a little bit more of a 16th, that allowed the lick to work. So I wish I could say it when you're doing something creative, it just all spins out of you at the same time. Man, there are Mozarts in this world, and there are Beethovens. And I admire the Mozarts of the world that have it all worked out in their head, and all they have to do is just write it out or play it. There are people walking on the face of the earth that are like that way. I am not. The rest of us mere mortals are more like Beethoven. And you just try and you scratch and you wrestle with these parts until you get something that works. And sometimes it doesn't work. You can't just wrestle it out one day. You got to just let it ferment for a little while. And I'll get up and play the song the next morning, and there I'll have the answer. So I always get the answer. I'll never get stuck. I'll just do it in an easier way if I need to. So you'll never get stuck. You can always go back to the easier way of doing it. But sometimes if you just change how the melody goes, if it goes down, maybe you can go up. If it's at one octave, you can put it in another octave, or flip octaves or something, and that generally can open up some different possibilities, and that may be the solution. But that is a little bit about how I wrestle with these arrangements to try and get these things down. Gary Brown says, some days I just seem to play better than other ones. Does that happen to professional guitar players too? Yes, it does. It does happen. But I've got enough under the hood that I can fake it, and for the most part, I'm not being taxed to the nth of my ability. So doing stuff like this, I can pretty much play that in my sleep and while I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch. So I'm not really having to really concentrate too much. When I do need to concentrate on a problem, yes, I will have to wrestle that problem until I can figure out the answer for him. Brian is asking, do I switch between my nylon string and steel string guitars when I practice, or do you use the one guitar when practicing? Well, this is my main practicing guitar here, my J45. Now, I'm currently not asked to play a lot of, I'm in a little season now, which is going to end next week. I'll have to play electric again, but I've been currently wonderfully enjoying not playing electric and just being acoustic for a while, but I know that's not good for me. So I try and to balance out the guitar. So if I do, what's today? Today's Tuesday, so today I do 2 keys. I do the key of D and I do the key of A flat. And I'll usually try and do one on practice session in D on the acoustic, and then I'll do the A flat practice session on my electric, just to kind of keep me fresh on techniques on both of those. So, but I don't want to necessarily just go with one all the time, because then I get rusty on the others. There you go. Sky is asking, if you tune a 12 string, do you tune the pair just a little off to get more, I can't see that, get more harmonics? The short answer is no. No, I do not do that. I want them right on the money, because they are going to go out anyway. No matter what I do, they're going to go out just by how the note is attacked, how it's fretted with my fingers and things like that, and just the normal tug and pull of the instrument. Those strings are going to go different directions. So I want to start them as close to together as I can, so that when that naturally happens, it works. So the short answer is, for me, no, 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 no. I want those strings as dead on as I can get them, because I know they're going to start going out as soon as I start playing the instrument. So let's see. Stacy Perry is saying, love the Blackbird song lesson. Finally have something from your amazing group. Oh, how kind of you, Stacy. Have been a huge fan of your lessons forever. Wish I could go to your workshop. We have family in Tennessee. Yes, well, come on. Tennessee's beautiful. Boy, this is Chamber of Commerce weather this week. Don't ask me about the previous 6 weeks where we've been dying in mugginess and heat. But today it's glorious. We've got a little cool front coming through. So thank you for joining us. If you're interested in being a part of the Fall Fingerstyle Retreat, make sure and get in on that before the price goes up next week. For that. That is always a sweet, wonderful time we've got. If you're interested in just sitting on big leather couches 5 feet away from some of the best fingerstyle players on the planet, and just getting away from your daily life for a while, check out fingerstyleretreat.com, and that will get you all the information for that. Hey, thank you so much for those that have given. That's wonderful. We certainly appreciate it. And those of you that also have given on PayPal, which I can't really see right now, but I thank you for those that have done that. Keep up the great work in your own learning. Practice. I was talking with Robert Thompson just yesterday, the head of the Belmont Guitar Department, Belmont Guitar Ensemble and stuff like that. And we were just, talking about practice. And what has helped me is consistency in my practice. I don't even have to do any more, minutes per practice, but if I just do it every day, then my fingers stay fresh. That's better than if I did 15 minutes a day for 6 out of the 7 days a week, as opposed to 3 hours on a Sunday. I get further down the road. My hand feels better, and I just get more practice out of it. So consistency. Never underestimate the power of doing the right things over a long period of time. It will pay off for you. Hey, keep up the great work, and we will see you guys, not next week, but the week after that.